Good evening. How are you guys on this Friday night? Let me get a little bit of comments started. Let me know when you get on there. Say hello. Hey, Kathy, how are you? So, we are going to get started. We're doing a really cute little project. I'm running a little bit late. I know. I thought I was going to run early. But then when I realized that I needed to paint the embroidery hoop I'm going to use, it took longer to dry than I thought. So hope you guys are having a great Friday night. And if you hear the saw and things in the background, my husband is working on some things downstairs in the workshop. And we're getting ready for a craft show. Not this weekend, next weekend. So, or a vendor show. So he is working on some cutouts, and I am getting ready to get some Christmas projects done to get put in my booth and to get ready for that show. So I'm hoping, I know Friday nights sometimes are not the best nights because on Friday nights it's kind of hit or miss. People, I guess, are out doing their thing. So anyways, let me show you what we're working with tonight. We're going to work with this transfer. Looky there, that little old truck. How pretty is that? Now, I'm going to do this all in one color because I'm doing it on a buffalo plaid fabric. And I don't know if I want a lot of different colors of ink on that buffalo plaid fabric. So I've got some greenery to work on my hoop with and everything. So this is the hoop we're going to be using. This is a large oval craft hoop or embroidery hoop, and you can get them at your local craft store. I got it at that big one that likes to use orange. So I went ahead and painted it black. I painted all of it black. But after I got halfway through painting the inside one, I probably didn't have to paint the inside rack. But anyways, it started out just like this. I have plans for this one too. This is a pretty large round one. These have the substantial clasp at the top. So that one is another one I'm going to use later. But we're going to use this one that I've already painted black. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get out our fabric. I'm going to move that over for just a second. So I'm going to get out my fabric. I'm going to go ahead and turn you guys where you can see. And so what I'm going to do is put my fabric on, and I want to cut it bigger than what it actually needs to be. So I want to leave myself room. I probably should have ironed this fabric. Truth be told, I know. It should have been ironed. Hey, Linda. So let me see if I can get my starter. All I really need is just to cut enough fabric to use. And if I can stay out of the big, huge folds where it's been folded, that would be nice too. Okay, so I'm just going to cut bigger than I need. This fabric's a lot. I should have already had this fabric cut down. I apologize for that. All right, so I want to make sure I cut bigger than what I need so that I can get it back in the embroidery hoop. But I also want to save fabric, so I don't want to have a whole lot of excess cut off. You know what I mean? All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm just going to kind of, I'm not even going to put it in there very tightly. I'm just going to slap this in there so that I can cut off part of this fabric. Hello, Pauline. All right, and then, of course, when I came over here tonight, I realized that I really don't have the best scissors over here for cutting fabric. So my cut may be a little jiggy-jaggied. Yes, that's a nice little southern word there for you, jiggy-jaggied. Pauline, I saw your car all packed up. Are you on your way right now to the greatest place on earth? That, what is it? The most fun place on earth, the greatest place on earth. What do they call it? I forgot what the what they say. All right, so all I have right now is I have a huge oval embroidery hoop that I have painted black just because it kind of went with what I wanted. And I'm just cutting the fabric. Right now I'm cutting it kind of big, and then I'm going to get rid of it. So we're going to ink on this buffalo plaid fabric, which means I need an ink mat. So I need to grab that ink mat. Catching your flight in the morning. Well, I saw your stuff in the car, and I was like, surely they are not driving there. So you had to drive a little ways, I guess, to get to your flight. I got this fabric at that big old craft store that you don't have. But I bet you can find it lots of places. So I don't really need my hoop right now. And I don't need scissors right now. So I'm just going to lay out this fabric and kind of get it to where it's laying good and flat. So I want it to, something just fell between my desk. Hear that falling? I want to make sure that I have it semi halfway on here so that I can get it right back on into my embroidery hoop. So for those of you that are just joining, I have a huge embroidery hoop that we're getting ready to put this fabric in. But we're going to ink this fabric first. And I did measure to make sure this truck would fit. But now I'm starting to second guess myself. Does anybody else do that? All right, so I'm just putting this down on the ink mat, trying really, really hard. I did not measure at all. They only had 1.5 yards, I think, on the bolt. Or maybe that was the other one I got. But anyways, I got like 1 yard. And so you probably don't need that. But I'll tell you this, to get around it, I went a little bit bigger than the 18 by 18 square that we had. So you would need to get fabric big enough that you could cut around the 18 by 18. So those of you that are on right now, say hello. Let me know that you are there. I want to say hi to you. Know that you're there. We are getting ready to ink this really cute transfer that says, let me see if I can get it where you can see it better. Sorry if I made you car sick there. It is a little bit bigger than my ink mat, the transfer is, so I need to make sure that, and we're going to do one more time, make sure that it'll fit in this hoop, and it does fit in this hoop, so we're good. All right, so I'm going to. We're going to take that embroidery hoop, and I've got some greenery that I picked up while I was there, and I am going to kind of make that embroidery hoop into a wreath. That's where we're headed with this. And I do want to make sure that, because I do have some lines on this. So hello, Mary. Hello, Marcia. I do have some lines on this, so I do kind of want to make sure that I have it semi-lined up. Of course, I could sit here all day and worry about this. All right, so I'm going to make sure that this is down really well because we are going to be inking. And I don't want any ink run-throughs. Now, those of you that saw my snow globe the other night, you know I didn't like what happened at the end. Well, for one thing, I made a bow that was way too ginormous. And I need to fix my little snowman. So I may turn the camera back on later after I get through with this and redo that too because I want to add some things to that. Now, I could have went and got my big squeegee because I'm doing this all one color. Now, if I were doing this on like a solid or on a chalkboard or something, I might do some of this in different colors. But for me, with this buffalo plaid, I don't want it to be so busy that it's distracting. So I'm doing this all in white. So sometimes less is better, right? So let me open these pastes. I do have, let me show you what I've got. I've got all white and I've got an almondy color. So I have one that's kind of an off-white and one that's a bright white. The off-white might make it look a little more aged, but my plan was to go with the bright white, unless anybody has a strong desire to see. What color is this called? This color is called fawn, I think. I don't have my glasses on, but I think that's what it is. So unless anybody tells me, no, do the off-white, I'm going to do this in white. So you got a few minutes while I open up the containers if you think I should do the off-white. Otherwise, we're getting ready to put some white on there. See, that's what I'm thinking too, is bright white. Now, I will tell you, the ink, I don't know if it's just the white ink or not, but the last couple of inks that I have used have felt kind of thick for ink, because usually ink is a little thinner than paste, but this looks kind of thick. So we're just going to, really, I probably should have taken and put some on here, but we're just going to squeegee this on. And if you are new and just learning about Chalk Couture, when you're squeegeeing, the best thing I can tell you to do is when you're putting on ink or paste, you are not icing a cake. So you do not want a lot of give in your squeegee. So I hold mine close to the bottom and press down pretty firmly so that it goes through that silk screen easily. Now, I love doing this. To me, it's kind of relaxing and it's fun to see what you create. And the good thing about this is I'm not an artist. I'm not a drawer and I'm not a painter. There's a lot of craft things I can do, but I cannot draw and I cannot paint. So I love this because when I'm done with this, it looks like that I have made this or chalk arted this or painted this, and it's always going to come out, hey Sabra, it's always going to come out looking so professionally done. And I did it all with a transfer. Now our transfers are sticky on the back. I know a lot of you all know this, but I have had some new people come to the page, and I'm glad for all of you that have come to the page. I'm glad to have you guys. So our stencils are sticky on the back, so they stick down. They're not like those hard stencils that you have to, you remember that daubing paint that you had to do around those stencils? They're not like that. So these are really easy to work with, and they're going to give you almost perfect results every time. Now, yes, we did the Christmas trees last night at a make and take, and yes, they were a little rough because some of those trees didn't have very much sticky area in them, so you had to be careful with those. But as long as you're doing one with not real big, huge, I lost my word, silk screen area, there it sticks down nicely for you and you don't have to worry about that bleed through. And like I said, it comes out perfectly every time almost. And so super duper easy. There it is. I've got the ink all over it. The good thing about ink is you have a little more time to deal with it than you do with chalk. With chalk paste, when you start, you have about 3 or 4 minutes max, and then you need to be done and pulling it up, because if the paste dries in the screen, then it's going to pull up with your transfer. So you don't want your paste to dry in the screen. But the good thing is that the ink takes a little bit longer to dry. The bad thing is the ink takes a little bit longer to dry. So that means that when you're moving to the next steps, it may take you a little bit of time in between to get there. So let's take this off and let's see what it looks like, guys. The biggest thing with ink to me on red is that, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that, I mean, I still, as much as I've done with this, and I know how good it's going to look, I still get excited when I see that all come off and that it looks perfect. So look how cute that is. Now, like I said, we're going to put it in an embroidery hoop and make it into a wreath. So right now, I'm going to help the drying process because, like I said, ink takes a little bit longer to dry. And what I should have done, had I not been running late, was I could have moved this ink out of the way and worked on my little snow globe from last night, or the night before last, while I was waiting on this. But we're going to dry this with the hair dryer. If ink is permanent, so if you heat set it and wash it, it will stay. I will say, heating it with this hair dryer is not heat setting it. You need to, when it is fully dry, press it with an iron for 4 minutes, like with a piece of parchment paper. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn you guys up because all I'm going to be doing is drying for a minute. Oh, my hair. So you want to press it with an iron on high heat for about 4 minutes on the front and the back to heat set it. I'm not going to worry about heat setting this because I'm not going to be washing this. But like for throw pillows and things like that, you need to heat set them that way with an iron for about 4 minutes on each side. Or if you have a heat press, like those of you that have come to the classes and things, I usually heat press for you because I can do it in 30 seconds. So I'm going to turn the dryer on for just a minute. Can you hear me while I'm drying this? I'll try it on low. Maybe you can still hear me while I'm drying this. I do want to say that if you're at all interested in any of the products and ordering, my website for ordering is chalkingwithjill.com, and it will take you straight to my website where you can order. If you're not in my VIP group already, you may want to go join that because that's where I post specials. So that is VIP Chalking with Jill on Facebook. But like I said, the website to order is chalkingwithjill.com, or go to my VIP page and it's VIP Chalking with Jill on Facebook, and I post specials and deals there. I just did a special for the ornament tags. And with it getting almost Christmas time, I'm sure I will be posting specials there for a while. So you might want to check that out. I also am building a team, so if you're interested at all in being on my team, let me know that too. I'm going to turn this up a little bit right now. All right, I think I'm pretty good. I did smudge just a little bit where I put my finger on it to see if it was dry, and the answer was no, because it wasn't dry. So I'm going to take it off of the backer. And you do want to be careful when you're doing that, not let it fold up on itself like I just did. All right. So I'll just, these are our ink mats, and they're sticky, so the fabric sticks to it, so it doesn't move around while you're inking. And I will say, I do love to do the inks. All right, so let's get the little supplies we need. Again, I'm using this big oval embroidery hoop. And then I've got some greenery and some ribbon. Yes, I was just say, did I bring the ribbon with me? I did. All right, so we're going to turn you guys back upside down so that you can see. All right. So now, and I am pretty dry. It's not perfectly dry, so I do need to still be a little bit careful. Now, I want to make sure that I get this in there evenly so that my truck, thought I had a little piece of white ink on there, but I didn't. Okay, so I just need to let's see what that looks like. That's what we should do first, is just see where we are, see what we look like. And we look like we might be just perfect. What do you guys think? You probably can't tell because you're seeing all of the material. But I think we are okay. Let me just do a little bit up. Well, you're 2, but you know, that might be about right. We might need to move over a smidge that way. Let me get out my handy-dandy measuring tape. Yeah, I need to move about a 1/2 inch. So let's see if I can do that without totally messing up everything else. All right, this big old hoop's kind of hard to deal with, y'all. Kind of gets in the way. All right, so I think I was a little bit too far to, well, now I feel like I'm getting too far that way because the distance between those two is, yeah, I think maybe that's what I did, is I went the wrong way. I measured and then moved it the wrong direction. All right, let's see what we think of that. I don't know. Don't know why. I'm not usually one who stresses that much with things being even, but I know there are a lot of people who do stress with things being even. And some of them are watching right now. They may be cringing. There we go. We're perfect. They may be cringing at how uneven I am. All right, so now I'm going to just tighten up this hoop up here. And while I'm doing that, I do want to make sure that my fabric is pulled really good and tight all the way around. And then all I have left to do, guys, is make a bow and put the greenery on this, and then it's ready to hang. Well, we need to cut down the fabric. Clearly, we need to cut down the fabric. Yes, Marsha, I was talking about you just a little bit on the, I know you like your stuff measured very well. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that feels like it's dry. I am going to cut down this because I don't need this much extra for sure. Now, I'm going to cut mine pretty close. I have watched some people who don't cut theirs so close and they hot glue the end over. Well, I'm just going to cut mine really close and then hope I don't ever undo it accidentally. But you can leave a little more of a rim and then glue that part over to the back if you want it to look a little cleaner. So there we go. I like this transfer a lot too, but you know, I love the farmhouse look right now, although I don't never want to live on a farm and do no farming for sure. I had enough farming growing up. But I do love the farmhouse look, and I do love these little old trucks. It reminds me when we were growing up, my dad had one of those red Chevrolet trucks, and we, you know, before it was illegal to ride in the back of the truck, we would ride in the back of the truck from our house to our grandmother's house all the time. And I still remember that little red truck. So I think they're kind of neat, but yeah, this girl ain't all for the farming no more. All right, so we got that extra cut off. There it is. There's where we are so far. What do you guys think about that? Let me know what you think. All right, so now what we're going to do is we need to make the bow. Sorry, I had to have a little something to for my throat there. It's getting dry. So I have these, and I sort of thought they might be too big. However, I kind of like them. So let's look at some ribbon. I have some red and wet buffalo check, but we're definitely not using that because that would be just too much. But I have some thick black and red, and I have some that is thinner, but I think we're going to use the thinner. Thanks, Mary. All right, so I think I'm going to use, whoops, sorry, these two ribbons, and I'm just going to throw the others in the floor. That's what you heard. So I'm going to take, I really would like to have had some zip ties, but I forgot to bring the zip ties over. Isn't that about the way it goes? So we're going to use some, what do you call these? Pipe cleaners. All right, so I want to take my price tags off of my greenery. I'm hoping that I can do this with this greenery without having to cut down the stem of it because I didn't bring any wire cutters over here. I know I need to get my little crafty room over here set up where I can get everything done without having to run back and forth between the house and here. So I'm just getting my price tags off, and you know how they stick them around there and then they push the stickers together and you can barely get them apart. So my hope I'm planning on arching these so that they kind of go around the thing, and they may be too big. I may have to go look in my stash. I've got some that came from Walmart. Yeah, we may have to go with a different one, guys, because these look a little, might big, but I'm afraid the ones I got at Walmart might be too little. Y'all can't see because they're not up high enough, but I think those are too big. So let me go grab my other little stash of greenery that I have. My fear on this one is I have too big or too small and not anything just right. I think that one, you know what I could do is, I am so sorry. This, I just got the camera looped up in the, if I had a way, I could almost make one of those. That still might be too big. So let's look at this Walmart one. See, I'm afraid that one, it might be okay. I really wish I could. I want to see, I hope I don't make y'all seasick or motion sick or anything like that, but I'm going to see if I can move you guys up a little bit so that you can see the whole thing. There we go. That's a little better, right? Hopefully that's a little better for you guys. Okay, so I should have a couple of these. And these just came from Walmart. They were like 98 cents. So they were cheap, cheap. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my pipe cleaners and put those two together. Because I think if I do that, I can put the bow on there and we'll be fine. So you can see I'm already starting to get that snowy stuff all over my project. And so I'm just right now putting this together. Hey, Cindy. I probably could, Marsha, but I didn't bring any wire cutters over with me. And what I may do is, if I feel like this is not enough, I may trim down some more and add to it. So let me take this off of that because I don't want that to. And then we're going to work on the bow. So I love how this turned out so far. I really, really, really like that's going to go up there. I really, really like the, I mean, I'm glad I did all that in white. I think anything else would have been too busy for this. I'm just trying to get the ribbon open right now. And then I'll move this so that we can work on the bow together. So I kind of want to intermix my red and my black ribbon because I want to mimic the buffalo plaid without actually adding any more buffalo plaid because I'm afraid that it will make it look too busy. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of measure what I think one bow should look like. So I'm thinking my loop should not really be any bigger than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my ribbon at a diagonal, and I'm going to start out with 3 pieces of each. Oh, I should not use those good trimmers on that. So far all I did is cut out 3 pieces of red. I'm going to cut out 3 pieces of black, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I may decide to put some more. We'll see. And I did some kind of wonky cut down here. Let me fix that. All right, so all I'm doing is cutting out my ribbon. I am cutting them all the same length. Oh, I hate that when they do that. I'm not putting that in my ribbon. They meshed 2 pieces together where it was cut. Y'all know what I'm talking about on those bolts of ribbon where they put 2 together. I don't like it when they do that. All right, so now I'm going to, oh, I need to cut the ends of the red because this one end, I did not cut. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide on how big I want my loops. And I want my loops to be about that big. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the black and I'm going to measure a loop the same and turn it in the opposite direction. So I've got, you see what I did? I will say the red ribbon is a little more pliable than the black ribbon. This is going to make all my red. I'm going to do this a little differently. If I had 3 colors, I would have done that. I would have alternated them that way. But now I'm going to do it this way because I want to make sure that I have red and black on both sides of my tie. So I'm just kind of holding this in the middle as I'm going, and I'm going to put, which may make me want to do 4. We'll see. I might want to go back and do another one of each one, just so that I have an even amount going both ways. We'll see what it looks like. And this is where I wish I had a zip tie. Because you can, if you have a zip tie, you can get this really, really tight. So I'm going to take a, I don't know why I'm having trouble with pipe cleaner tonight, but every time I need it, I've forgotten it. I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and I'm going to twist it as tight as I can. Okay, and then I'm just going to fluff out my, see, you're seeing a lot of black. That's why I'm wondering if, well, let me pull some red up through on this side. So I'm just fluffing out my loops and my tails, making sure they're all turning the right direction, pulling those out. And if I pull one forward, the next time I'm going to pull it to the back so that I have a pretty even amount spread of everything. Okay. So now here's what I'm thinking with this bow. Because the red is a little more it's not quite as thick, so it kind of gets lost behind the black. So what I'm wondering about is pulling all my red to the front, except for maybe some of the tails. I know y'all can't see anything, can you? Pulling all my red to the front, except for a couple of the tails. And yeah, I kind of like that better. This bow, if you make these bows this way, you end up with more tails showing, but I kind of like those little ends. So there's my bow. Okay, so now let's see how this looks if we put this on here. This is where I should have put my hot glue gun because this needs to be glued. Oh, I forgot. I don't have to turn you guys upside down. This needs to be glued. To that up there. And then I need to tie this on. So I'm going to tie this onto my bow onto my greenery picks. All I'm doing is twisting with a twist tie underneath. And then I'm going to lay this there, but I'm going to go back in and glue it on after because I don't want y'all to have to wait on the glue gun to heat up. And then I'm just pulling out some of these. But, oh, let me get all the glitter and stuff off of our truck. So there's our truck. And it is pretty dry now. Otherwise, it would be a hot mess when I put my hand over it. And then I'm going to put the bow on there. And I'm going to make sure I get it up high enough that I don't lose any of the words. But that bow is going to go on there. And that greenery. And there's what it's going to look like when I get it done. Give me some hearts and likes if you think that's really pretty. I do want to make sure I don't hide any of my words when I get it on there. And I will do that. But how quick and easy was this? I mean, it looks really fancy. The glitter from the bow and the glistening snow from the picks are making quite the mess. But I think it is, I'm trying to get it done, not to, my computer's trying to update, and I'm like, please not right now. So there's what it's going to look like done. I need to pull around the greenery a little bit and, like I said, get it all positioned, but I also need to heat up the glue gun, and I don't want you to have to wait on that. But this was a big, huge oval embroidery hoop. You could get the little hoops, and I have some of them. The little hoop, maybe we'll do some of those. The little hoops with those little Christmas, the words are just gone. Do you ever have those days where the words just don't come? The set of Christmas transfers that has the 12 little minis on it, we could do matching ornaments out of the small embroidery hoops. But I've got this one. This one is one of the large oval ones, and I just painted the hoop black. I am going to go back in and mess with this and glue it down because it's not down yet. But I do really like how well, I'll move that so you can see how well the whole thing came out. This really did ink very well. I think it's really pretty. And like I said, as soon as I get this done and cleaned up and away, I am going to come back on and work on the shadow box that I did with the snow globe because I did not like how that turned out. So if you're on Facebook later and you want to see what happens with the snow globe, I will be back as soon as I finish up with this and get everything I need for that. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Bye.